Okay. Hello. So firstly, I'd like to apologise for this camera quality. I do have a camera, but it was out of battery and I just kind of wanted to get this done. I know a couple of people have messaged me about it. A lot of kind words and a lot of reassurance, which was really nice. So thank you. And I hope you don't feel like I've wasted your time. So it's not funny, but it's quite funny in a way. Like when I planned to do this video, it was supposed to be like a really positive thing, like this happened and this happened, but I got through it and I feel great now. And then literally from that point onwards, it was like a steady decline, um, and things aren't good now. So I'm hoping that by doing this video and talking about it and getting everything out there, maybe it might bring some positivity back and make me feel a bit better. So we shall see. Um, Apologies for the state of my hair. It is pink, kind of. It's a work in progress. Right, so quite a lot of people have followed me for like a long time. You've seen my entire life story. Like I go in and out of good and bad times. Eventually it got too much this year and I decided it was time to go back and get some professional help again, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I was proud of myself for doing it. I still am proud of myself for doing it. I think it's a big step to take. It's also not a bad thing if you don't do it, because not everyone's comfortable with talking about things. It took me a long time to accept the fact that I had to, but everyone has their own different stories. Like everyone's different. Obviously, we all deal with things in our own ways, and I just got to the point where it was too much, and I thought I'd best go and sort that out. um, so when I was like a teenager, had quite a lot of problems with my mental health. A lot of things contributed to that, and that was tough. And then sort of everything died down for a little bit. I met my ex. At the start it was a very happy relationship. I was very happy. It was my first boyfriend, long-term relationship, so I thought this is brilliant. Just kind of went downhill, and after 2.5 years we broke up. I mean, I can't even recognise the person I was this time last year when we'd first broken up, so in a good way. You know, I've come through a lot with that. I was a mess. I mean, like, asked my best friend. I was the worst friend in the world for a good few months. I kind of isolated myself, didn't want to see anyone, didn't really leave the house. Luckily, I live with my grandparents. Yes, oh yes, I apologise for the random placing, but the lighting was the best. So, yes, so I've lived with them. You know, my family have got me through a lot. My best friend has got me through a hell of a lot. I couldn't ever thank her enough for that. So in terms of that, I've done incredibly well, but obviously one turmoil becomes another, you ignore other things, and I just found I didn't really realise for a while, and then I sort of looked back and I was like, I'm just staying in bed all the time. This was kind of like March time this year. Realised things weren't really right and that I wasn't myself and that I was isolating myself again, and that's obviously not something I ever really want to do again. Lost a lot of people, and I'm so grateful for the people who stayed and didn't leave, because they had every bloody right to. Yeah, so I had a long hard think about it myself, and I thought, right, I'm not going to go to a counsellor straight away, because in my own opinion it hasn't worked for me in the past. That's not to say that it doesn't work, because for some people it does, but I thought, you know, I'll go and see the doctor. There's no shame in going back on meds or anything, so I just thought, right, I'll just go with a fresh mind, see a new doctor, go through everything and see what they have to say. So so at first he thought that I was just having like panic attacks, so I was given some tablets to slow my heart rate down, you know, make me less anxious and whatever, but that wasn't obviously combating, wasn't solving, wasn't dealing with the sadness. It wasn't dealing with that aspect of it. I mean, it was calming me down, which was nice. Small things like walking into a restaurant if I was on my own would really tear me up inside, and you know, I just felt like everyone knew that I was being odd or whatever, so that they helped a lot. And I went back and I was honest, and I just said, you know, that it's helped with the anxiety, but it's not helping with the sadness, and the just general like just gloominess. Nothing was making me happy. I was trying to do my hobbies. I was trying to go out and do photography, videos, you know, I love going to gigs and stuff. Obviously, living here, it's quite difficult, so I have to travel to the UK to go to them. But I was just trying to like book things. I mean, Reading Festival. It was all. I had so much to look forward to that I just couldn't understand why I was stuck in such a lonely, dark place. And I felt kind of ungrateful. I mean, people were out like booking like London. Like me and my best friend went to London for my birthday. You know, my family booked for me to go to Vegas. I had Reading, and I just couldn't understand why I couldn't bring myself out of this real lull. Like I couldn't convince myself to be happy enough, and I felt ungrateful, I felt selfish, and I felt just pretty miserable about that on top, so that didn't really help. So I told him, and then I tried some antidepressants, so ones I used to go on when I was younger, so I kind of knew the process with that, and yet again that didn't really help. He referred me to a psychotherapist who I spoke to a couple of times. They compared notes, we all spoke together, and around June I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And oh, this is a bit when I get emotional. It was a shock. It was a real big shock to me because I just never considered it. I mean, it's kind of pointing me straight in the face now, but it's not the thing that you expect to hear, and I'm ashamed to say it, but I was not embarrassed, but I was ashamed actually to tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone because of the stigma that comes around with it. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing to say, and there are so many wonderful people out there who suffer from it, and you wouldn't know, that you just wouldn't know, because people deal with things in their private life. They deal with it behind closed doors, and I thought that I could do that. I thought, that's fine, I can deal with it, I don't need to tell anyone. Now I know what it is, now it's going to be sorted, I'm going to be like high flying, I'm going to be in a really good place. What I didn't allow myself was any time to kind of process everything that was happening, going from not knowing anything to being told that, with all the new medications and everything. I didn't give myself enough time. I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't speak to anyone, and I really put myself in a low place once again about that, because I thought, where do I go from here? It's a really weird place to be in. So I bottled it all up and made everything 10 times worse, because that is my speciality. And basically it just ate me up. I mean, at one point, oh my God, sorry. At one point, I was kind of using Reading as something to kind of stay alive for. I just thought, music always been everything to me, and I just thought, well, right, stay alive for Reading, see your favourite artists. I mean, the lineup this year was just me all over, and I just thought, get to that, and then that's it. I didn't really want to carry on a lot. That's hard saying out loud. I realised that the healthiest option wouldn't be to speak to myself on a computer and then upload it for the internet to see, instead of just, talking to my friends and family about it to start with. But it's a sense. I've always used Twitter as a release. I have so many good friends on there. I know so many people care about me on there, and I really kind of lost myself for a few months, and I was so worried that people were going to think that I was like being off with them, or like didn't want to be friends with them or whatever. But I could not tell anyone. Like, I just couldn't do it. And I was so scared of what people were going to say back to me. I just thought, right, I'll deal with it on my own. I can be normal, but I wasn't being normal, and I know that now. And I remember walking out of Reading the first night I've seen them, 1975. The first time I've seen them since 2016, when I was with my ex, and the emotions were just too much. I mean, there are so many songs that bring so many emotions. Obviously, Robbers, I'm sure a lot of other people could agree with that, but it was just the most amazing thing ever. And obviously, like, see my tattoo, I always said if they performed I Always Want to Die Sometimes, I would get the Sometimes on my arm, because that's like my song. It's got me through a lot, and I did it. And it was then that I realised, Jesus Christ, Chloe, like, this is what you're happy to be here. This is what you live for. Why would you give all of that up? Okay, it's not healthy using one thing for your happiness, but going to Reading just reignited that absolute love of gigs and live music and the music journalism that I used to do when I was younger, and everything just hit me at once, and I thought, you idiot for even contemplating not wanting to carry on, like what is the point in that? And I walked back to where I was staying, and I just thought, this can be your life. You can do things like this to make you happy. I'm hopefully moving to Birmingham next year, so it'd be easier for me to go to gigs, because they really are like the pinnacle of my happiness. And it just got better from there. I mean, 21 Pilots, it's not to be cliche or anything, but they've got me through a lot, and I just heard so many of my favourite songs that I'd never heard before, or I had horrible memories attached to them, and it was so refreshing to get these new memories, meet new people. I just had the best weekend, and I remember thinking at the end of it, you absolute idiot, just like, to think I was even using that as like my final thing or whatever. It's just ridiculous. Slap myself. It was just ridiculous, and I thought, that's on the Monday on the way back to the airport before my saga. I'm sure you saw all of that on my Instagram, where I got put in a space pod for the evening. Before I came back, or tried to come back to Jersey on the Monday, I just had this idea on the train. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be open and honest. I'm going to get rid of the stigma from my own mind, and hopefully, I mean, if anyone's relating to it, maybe you'll feel a little bit more confident to share your story as well. But I just knew that I had to speak about it, and obviously talking to myself on my computer right now was the way to do it. And at that time, I was in such a good place that I was like, this is amazing, this is going to be such a positive video, it's going to be like, look what I went through. But I turned it back around, or, you know, this, you can get through it sort of video. And then everything just went back downhill again as soon as I got home. And I think it's a mix of, you know, being stuck on this island and, you know, not really doing a lot with my life at the moment. It gets to you. It does get to you. And yeah, basically I've not been doing overly well over the last few weeks. I mean, I'm so lucky to have the support network around me. I've got so many lovely people on Twitter that I'm so happy to call my friends. You know, you all check up on me, make sure I'm okay, and I can't tell you how much that means to me, to know that people care. And especially when, like, I changed my mind about the video, and then I had people messaging me like, when are you gonna put the video up? And I was like, oh my god, I have to do it now, people want to see it. I can't avoid that, like, people want to see it. And I thought, actually, I owe it to myself to do the video I wanted to do in the first place, and be honest that this is what it is. Some days are good, some days are bad. I need to accept that that is now life. I mean, it's heavily under control now compared to how I was a couple of months ago, and I'm so grateful for all the help that I've been given by my doctor. But that's the actual point of this condition, is that it's up and down, and I need to be kind to myself. I need to let myself figure it out, figure how I work best with it, figure what works for me and what doesn't work for me, and just stop being so hard on myself. And at the start of this video I said, hopefully I'll talk about it and I'll feel better, and I thought, yeah, okay, whatever. But I actually do, like, it's nice talking about it out loud and sort of reassuring myself that actually it's okay. It's perfectly okay to feel bad anyway, but especially when you've got something like that going on. And woo, I'm very proud of myself for not crying, because a couple of times there I was like, oh my god, the tears are coming. So yay me. So thank you if you have stuck around long enough to hear my irritating voice talking about myself. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've got a weight off of my chest now, and I feel like I'm feeling kinder towards myself already, and kind of want to give myself a bit of a break now. So yes, it's okay to have good and bad days. Don't want to sound like an influencer here, because I'm not. You can see from my lovely camera quality. I just want people to know that I'm always there, always a message away. I'm pretty much nocturnal, so between the hours of like 2 and 6 I sleep for work, but that is about it. And yeah, one last thing to say is stream Hollywood's Bleeding. Goodbye.